All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. I guess this is more so another Studios video, and I literally just uploaded a video talking about Mortal Kombat being in trouble because of the whole Netflix situation that's going on. This is a completely different topic. This is about the fact that EVO just announced the games that will be at the events and featured as the 12 showcase games. And Mortal Kombat or Injustice, obviously there's no reveal or anything like that, right? But NetherRealm Studios does not have a presence at EVO for the first time since before MK9. Since 2011, as one of the main EVO showcase games, NetherRealm Studios has always had one. 2011 and 12, MK9. 2013 and 14, Injustice 1. 2015-16, MKX. 17-18, Injustice 2. 19, MK11. Obviously, the whole pandemic situation happened, so I don't even count those online ones. And then when EVO returned in 2022, or was it 2021? I think 2021 and 22. But anyway, MK11 was showcased in those. 2023 and last year, MK1. So for the first time in a very long time, there will be no Mortal Kombat or Injustice game featured as one of the main games at EVO, the biggest fighting game tournament in the world. Crazy. I'm not going to lie, though. I saw this coming because if you guys remember, MK1 in 2024 was the lowest, I think the second lowest EVO entrance out of 10 games. I think now they have 12, but they had 10 last year and they had 10 this year. And that was after less than a year of the game being out. So traditionally, the first year that another NetherRealm Studios game is out, it's always in the number 3 spot, number 4 spot of most entrants, right? It just kind of shows you how unpopular Mortal Kombat 1 was, because in the first 12 months of the game's release, the first EVO, where it should be number 3, number 4 spot, it's never going to beat out Street Fighter. I think for MKX and MK11, I think it did beat out Tekken. But for MK1, it was number 9. Right behind, I don't even remember what game it was, but it was number 9 spot. It was pretty pathetic with the entrance, right? And then this year, it was dead last. And it was dead last, I think, by a long shot. So it was pretty clear that if there was nothing new announced before EVO could announce their games, that there will be no representation of NetherRealm Studios, meaning no Mortal Kombat, no Injustice. Now, what does that let me know? It just lets me know that, there's nothing new for them to have represented at EVO. But at the same time, it just shows how much of a decline the competitive side of NetherRealm Studios has gone to, because normally, even when the game is a little bit older, like MK11, they still showcase it at EVO because, Mortal Kombat is one of the big 3, right? It's always been Street Fighter, it's always been Tekken, and it's always been Mortal Kombat. But the fact that it's not represented in any way at the moment is pretty telling, guys. It's pretty telling as far as how much sort of NetherRealm Studios and, the Mortal Kombat has gone downhill since MK1 came out. Like, seriously, MK1 has been such a huge hit on NetherRealm Studios' reputation, even though I fucking love the gameplay. Like, I love the gameplay. I could play it any day. Like, I love the gameplay, but just everything around it besides the gameplay and the way that it launched, it has done a lot of damage to the NRS scene. It's pretty sad, to be honest with you guys, because I feel like Mortal Kombat or NetherRealm should always be represented. I mean, they're still a AAA studio. They're still producing, big budget games and stuff. But yeah, MK1 I think did a number on the reputation of the NRS scene, which really sucks because obviously we're all a part of the NRS scene. What does that tell me as far as the future game that's going to come out? Because, you never know. Maybe if they had a game that was going to come out in April, EVO is held in June. Maybe they would have reserved the spot. Maybe they would have put MK1 in there and then replaced it with the new game. I really don't think it's that deep. I don't even think NetherRealm cares as much, to be honest with you guys. It's just more like this kind of a bad look, in my opinion. I don't think NetherRealm cares about them being at EVO or not. If they do have a game that is going to be announced at the Game Awards and released in April, I don't think they would have even let EVO know or even care to, make something happen for their game to be showcased at EVO. And if their game is not announced at the Game Awards and it's announced, in the middle of the year and then Summer Games Fest or something, it wouldn't even have made the time frame for EVO because EVO's in June. So I don't know. I guess it was just bad timing. Bad timing for the EVO announcement to come out, and bad timing. NetherRealm is just not going to be represented at EVO this year. I definitely don't think it would have made sense if there is a game coming out in April to have MK1, for example, there when the new game would have been out. And, it makes sense for them not to have the game if the game their new game hypothetically comes out in September, which is very possible. I told you guys the two scenarios that could happen because I really don't see a NetherRealm Studios game not coming out next year. I don't see a game coming out in 2027 for NRS. I just don't see it. There were circumstances beyond their control when they took 4 years in between MK11 and MK1. I don't think it's happening again like that. And I know the Netflix thing is going on, but they've been working on the game before MK1 came out. This next game that's being worked on. If you guys have, followed Ed Boon and what he says about their development. So yeah, the two scenarios that I told you guys is still the same. Either it gets announced at the Game Awards and it releases in April or May, or it gets revealed as Summer Games Fest and it gets released in September like MK1 did. So those are still the two scenarios that I see happening. And I think both of those wouldn't have worked with EVO anyway, because EVO has to announce their games today, which is December 9th. So it just was not going to work out no matter what. And with the low amount of entrants for MK1 during its first 2 years, which is supposed to be where it gets the most entrants, especially the first year, it was just not going to be a good situation for Mortal Kombat to be showcased. And like I said, it does suck because Mortal Kombat is part of the big three, but I feel like MK1 just really tarnished that, at least at the moment, because there's always a chance for NRS to come back with, a future game that sort of is just a banger, right? But for now, as far as the competitive scene and, along with EVO and stuff, it's taken a huge hit with MK1. So it's pretty sad. It makes me feel bad for the competitive players, to be honest with you guys, because EVO's always, a premier event. It's the biggest fighting game term in the world. If you become an EVO champion, you have a legacy that's cemented forever, no matter what you end up doing in life. You could always say that you're an EVO champion. So yeah, it definitely sucks as a NRS fan and, part of the community to not see one of your games represented. But you know what? Invincible Versus is going to be there. And honestly, I had a ton of fun playing Invincible Versus. So I'm going to have a lot of fun watching that. And I'll be covering the hell out of Invincible Versus when it comes out. Another game that wasn't there actually was Marvel Tokon, which is a little bit surprising. But if Marvel Tokon will not be released before June, then it makes sense why it's not there. So I assume that Marvel ToeCon probably won't be releasing until around September, maybe during the holiday season. So Marvel ToeCon is actually still a long ways away. And obviously I'm looking forward to that a lot. So we'll see, guys. So in 2 days, we're going to see if we're going to get a new NetherRealm game in April, or if we're going to have to wait until Summer Games Fest to get an announcement. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of NetherRealm Studios not having a game at EVO for the first time since before Mortal Kombat 9 in 2011. That's like really hard to think about, to be honest with you guys. Not having a Mortal Kombat game or Injustice after it's been there since 2011 every single year. It's pretty crazy. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.